No, this past Olympic.
I knew you were going to ask this question. Honestly, I have to just say that I respected the committee's job. I understood what was at play. I understood the pros and the cons, I guess, if you want to lay it out that way. And I think at the end of the day, it's hard to criticize a gold medal.
Let's set the stage. Last summer, the Paris 2024 Olympics were in full swing, and Team USA's women's basketball squad was chasing yet another gold medal. The roster was stacked, as always, with legends like Diana Taurasi, Brittany Griner, and Aja Wilson. But one name was conspicuously absent: Caitlin Clark. The Iowa phenom, who'd just rewritten the NCAA record books and turned college basketball into must-watch TV, was nowhere to be found. Fans were stunned. Analysts were scratching their heads. Social media? Oh, it was a war zone. The decision to leave Clark off the roster sparked a firestorm. On our YouTube channel, we broke it down. Was this a case of veteran bias? A fear of disrupting team chemistry? Or just the WNBA being the WNBA, making questionable calls like they're auditioning for a blooper reel? The official explanation from the selection committee was vague. Something about fit and experience.
A lot of people see the final game against France. They see, only winning by a couple points, and they view that as some sort of indicator. But the reality is we've been having close games at the Olympics for years.
But let's be real. Those excuses were flimsier than a paper towel in a rainstorm. Clark had just averaged 31. 6 points per game in her final college season, shattered scoring records, and carried Iowa to the NCAA championship game. If that's not Olympic-worthy, what is? The committee's decision wasn't just a snub, it was a statement. And the message fans heard loud and clear was this: the WNBA wasn't ready to embrace the future. Instead of celebrating a generational talent, they sidelined her, leaving her to watch from the sidelines as Team USA squeaked by France in a nail-biting 67-66 gold medal game. Sure, they won, but that 1-point margin had people whispering, could Caitlin Clark have made a difference? The close game conundrum now, let's address the elephant in the room. That gold medal game. France pushed Team USA to the brink, and the final score had fans clutching their popcorn. Some pointed to the close call as proof that Clark's absence hurt the team. But hold up, let's pump the brakes on that narrative for a second. Close games at the Olympics aren't exactly breaking news.
USA basketball and what we have going in this country is all the talent, and that's always been the case, so I kind of just don't want to mess it up.
Yeah.
I think that's how I'm coming in, but I know being a player, bringing that perspective, it's going to make...
The international stage is brutal. Teams like France, Australia, and Japan have been closing the gap for years, thanks to improved coaching, deeper talent pools, and a growing global passion for women's basketball. Back in 2016, Team USA beat Spain by 17 points in the gold medal game, but that was an outlier. In 2020, they edged out Japan by 15. And in 2012, France, yes, the same France, kept it within 13. Tight contests are par for the course when you're facing the world's best. So pinning the 2024 close call on Clark's absence is a stretch. The roster, as it was loaded with experience and chemistry, and they got the job done. Gold medal secured, no asterisks needed. Still, the optics weren't great. When you leave out a player like Clark, who's not just a scorer, but a cultural phenomenon, and then barely scrape by, you're begging for second guessing.
Steve, head coach of the USA women's basketball team, has also been getting a little bit of backlash, right? Yeah. And now she's decided to make her ex profile.
And trust me, the second guessing came in waves. On our YouTube channel, we got comments like, Caitlin would have dropped 20 in that game, or the committee fumbled the bag. Whether she would have changed the outcome is anyone's guess, but one thing's for sure. Her snub lit a match under the WNBA, and the flames are still burning. The WNBA's panic mode. Enter Sue Bird fast forward to today, and the WNBA is in full-on meltdown mode. Why? Because Team USA just dropped a bombshell that's got the league scrambling to rewrite its playbook. Sue Bird, yes, the Sue Bird, with 4 WNBA championships, 5 Olympic gold medals, and a basketball IQ that could solve world hunger, has been named the managing director of USA Basketball's women's national team for the 2028 Olympic cycle. This is the equivalent of hiring Einstein to tutor your kid in math. And guess what? Sue's first order of business is looking a lot like righting the wrongs of 2024. On our YouTube channel, we're calling it now, Caitlin Clark is a lock for the 2028 Team USA roster. No ifs, ands, or buts. Sue Bird isn't here to play politics or tiptoe around the WNBA's fragile egos. She's here to build a dynasty, and Clark is the cornerstone. The league, meanwhile, is sweating bullets. They had their chance to elevate Clark last year, and what did they do? They treated her like an afterthought, letting her get hacked on the court, ignored by refs, and snubbed by the Olympic Committee. Now, with Sue calling the shots, the WNBA is about to learn a hard lesson. You can't dim a star that bright. Caitlin Clark, the phenom, the WNBA couldn't handle.
Private. This is kind of the still same realm of what we're talking about, Dan.
Well, you're supposed to be above it.
Let's talk about Caitlin Clark for a minute, because this woman is a walking highlight reel. In college, she was a one-woman wrecking crew, dropping 40-point games like it was her day job, and hitting logo threes that left defenders looking like they forgot how to play defense. She didn't just break records, she obliterated them, becoming the NCAA's all-time leading scorer, men's or women's, with 3,151 points. She turned Iowa into a national powerhouse and made women's college basketball a cultural juggie.
On our YouTube channel, we broke down one particularly egregious moment from a Fever versus Sky game.
Clark drives, gets hip-checked into next week, and lands hard. The crowd's screaming, her teammates are pointing at the defender, and the ref, he's staring at the ceiling like he's trying to spot a UFO. It's not just frustrating, it's embarrassing. The WNBA has a golden opportunity to showcase a player who's bringing new fans to the game. And instead, they're letting their refs turn her games into a free-for-all. Now, don't get me wrong, physicality is part of basketball. Clark's not asking for special treatment, she's built for the grind. But there's a difference between tough defense and straight-up fouls. When she's getting pushed to the ground on non-basketball plays, that's not chippiness, that's a problem.
I always felt like, as a coach, I got to watch everything because I got to lead. And whether it was going into a team meeting, I wanted to be prepared. If I was having a meeting with a parent, I wanted to be prepared.
And the WNBA's refusal to address it is starting to look like self-sabotage. They're alienating fans who came to see Clark's magic, only to watch her get mugged while the refs play hide-and-seek with their whistles. Sue Bird, the game changer, enter. Sue Bird, stage left, with a resume that could fill a museum. 4 WNBA titles with the Seattle Storm. 13 All-Star nods. 5 Olympic golds. She's not just a player. She's a legend, a strategist, and now, the woman tasked with shaping Team USA's future. As managing director, Bird's job is to select the roster and coaching staff for the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles. Think of it as the Grant Hill role, except Bird's got more rings and a sharper eye for talent. On our YouTube channel, we're hyped about this move, and here's why. Sue Bird doesn't play favorites, and she doesn't bow to politics. She's been around long enough to see the WNBA's highs and lows, from its early struggles to its current boom. She knows what makes a winning team, and she's not about to let a talent like Caitlin Clark slip through the cracks. Bird's got a player's perspective, which means she understands the game from the court up. She's not some suit in an office making decisions based on spreadsheets. She's a hoop savant who can spot a superstar from a mile away. And let's be clear, Clark is that superstar. By 2028, she'll be 26 in the prime of her career, with 4 more WNBA seasons under her belt. She's already a top 10 player in the league as a rookie. Imagine what she'll be with a few more years of pro experience. Bird knows this. She's seen Clark's tape, watched her dice up defenses, and probably laughed at the WNBA's feeble attempts to downplay her impact. When Bird builds her roster, Clark's name is going to be at the top of the list, circled in permanent marker. The WNBA's self-inflicted wounds, the WNBA's reaction to Clark's snub, and her rookie season in general, has been a masterclass in missing the point.
The most talked about story of the 2024 season. You want to know? You want me to tell you? Okay, I'll tell you. It was Caitlin Clark being snubbed from the Olympics.
Instead of embracing her as the face of the league's future, they've treated her like a problem to be managed. The Olympic snub was just the tip of the iceberg. The real issue is the league's culture, which seems allergic to change. Veteran bias, tribalism, whatever you want to call it. It's holding the WNBA back from capitalizing on a moment that could take women's basketball to new heights. Take Cheryl Reeve, head coach of Team USA in 2024, and a key figure in the Clark snub. Reeve's a coaching legend, no doubt, with 4 WNBA titles and a resume that speaks for itself. But her decision to leave Clark off the roster and her subsequent defensiveness didn't help her case. When fans and media pushed back, Reeve went private on her X account, a move that screamed, "I'm above the noise." Look, coaches have to be prepared for scrutiny, especially when they're leading Team USA. Shutting down the conversation only fuels the narrative that the WNBA's old guard is out of touch. On our YouTube channel, we've got fans weighing in. Reeve's great, but she fumbled this one.
Yes, that story, that headline that had Stephen A. Smith talking, that had everybody and they mama talking. And what's crazy about it, we all remember the storyline.
Why is the WNBA so scared of Clark? The sentiment is clear. The league's gatekeepers are clinging to the status quo, even when it's hurting their brand. Clark's not just a player, she's a movement. Her games draw sellout crowds, her jerseys fly off the shelves, and her highlights rack up millions of views. The WNBA should be building statues of her, not throwing roadblocks in her path. The Yukon bias #1 wrinkle in the Sue Bird era is her Yukon connection. Bird's a proud Husky, having played under Gino Auriemma and helped Yukon win 2 national titles. Some fans are worried she'll lean too heavily on Yukon alums when picking the Team USA roster. On our YouTube channel, we tackled this head-on. Will Bird's Yukon roots lead to bias? Here's the deal. Yukon produces elite talent, so it's no surprise their players often make Team USA. Brianna Stewart, Diana Taurasi, and Bird herself are Yukon grads who've dominated internationally. But Bird's not some blind loyalist. She's a pro who values winning above all else. If anything, her Yukon background gives her an edge. She knows what it takes to compete at the highest level.
To make history, and then ultimately she got benched. She got benched. Now, what if I was to tell you that the WNBA made it their business to clean house? What did I tell y'all at the beginning of